So thank you for that great introduction, Kate, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you today. And first of all, I want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Thanks for spending your day with us, including my dad in the back. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how science is in our world, how I got inspired into science, and hopefully inspire some more of you, especially if you're interested in getting interested into some competitions and how to get involved. So science has always been my passion ever since I was young. I've always said I was born with a goggle and beakers in hand because I really have always had a passion for science. Neither of my parents have science backgrounds at all. I just got inspired completely independently. So I've been doing science fairs ever since I was in 3rd grade, and I have won the Indiana State Science Fair for the past 7 years. I've won 1st place, and I have gone to multiple national and international competitions, which I'll talk about some of those today with some of my scientific research. So first of all, getting interested in science, definitely one thing I want to emphasize is it doesn't need to be structured by the school. And I got inspired completely independently. Some people think that it has to be structured by the school, or you need to get inspired maybe by a teacher, but it doesn't have to be. However you get inspired is how you get inspired. And whenever you want to do a research project, you want to try and solve a problem that either impacts you or impacts something that you've seen or some problem you're trying to solve. It could be even something as simple as something you see on the news and certain people that need help and you just want to try and help them. Something as simple as that, as any inspiration works. So don't be afraid to try and fail. Perseverance and dedication are always key in any scientific research. Always try and keep going no matter what, even if it fails after multiple times, to keep trying to find that good solution. So some of the benefits for a science fair project, some of them are more obvious than others in the sense of you're going to learn some mathematical skills, you're going to learn some measurement skills, different things like that. But some things that people may not realize is that you really learn and definitely build confidence in public speaking. And I've had multiple friends and different people I can vouch for and I've witnessed that have gotten interested into science. They end up doing science fair and become great public speakers and definitely have a lot of confidence presenting in front of an audience. So that's something that you can really gain from science fair projects. Also, you can gain a lot of research skills. Just that helps for college, future, and a job setting. So there are definitely a lot of positives here. So I'm going to give you a few of my personal tips for doing a research project. The first one being what I mentioned earlier, solving a real-world problem that you see and anything that you're trying to improve. But also, any mathematical applications that you can add to your research project is definitely important. So anything, like I just took this past year pre-calc and trigonometry at my school, and I see so many applications in that for if I want to do like a physics project or something like that in the future. So there's so many different things like that just making those connections helps a lot. It can perfect your research. It really makes a difference. Also, any computer applications. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with this later, but any computer applications, different software. There's some great programs like Autodesk Inventor, which I'm going to talk about. Any programming that you can add to your project is great, as well as it helps when making like simulations. So like you saw today, the car crash simulation in the Computer History Museum, that was a great exhibit, and they had a lot of simulation software, a lot of programming. A lot of that is used in current research that a lot of high school and college students are doing. This also goes along with creativity. Creativity is always important in any research, especially in engineering. So here's some useful programs. The first one being my personal favorite, which is Autodesk Inventor. Autodesk Inventor is a great software 3D modeling program. So I've always done engineering projects, and sometimes I'll come up with a drawing and I want to get to that next step of building it, but I still don't have that clear picture of what exactly I'm making. So I figure, what can I do to get that 3D image without using all those materials, especially, let's say, if you're trying to make a rocket or something that is going to cost a lot of money, but you can find a cheaper solution by modeling it ahead of time. So using Autodesk Inventor is super helpful. Also, there's so many things with Inventor with stress analysis or different analyses you can do with it. So I had a friend who was building a device that people would stand on to make a more mobile, like a robotic device, and he needed to make sure that it was able to withstand the human weight. So in order to do that, he used Autodesk Inventor ahead of time, used appropriate materials that he was planning on using, put it in the program, and it was able to tell for him whether or not it was going to withstand the weight that he wanted it to hold. So The other positive is the picture that I have up there of the image is an orthographic image, which is a top, center, and right view, top, front, and right view of any 3D model. And so that can also be made in Inventor where you can dimension it. You can come up with different dimensions to help you ahead of time. Another software that goes along with that is Autodesk Maya. And Autodesk Maya is also a great software, and it's more animating, which is more arts. And that's right, STEAM is a common application that's being used now with science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And this software, you can import Inventor files into it. And basically, it can help with a lot of animating. It's really used a lot more than you may think, like in different science videos where they'll zoom in on a certain body part and then they'll show a certain cell. So that zooming in is what Maya is great with. So there are different things like that that I recommend. So time-lapse, even though you may not realize it, it's actually something that may be a lot more helpful than you may think. It's on everyone's iPhone. You can automatically use it, either slow mode, fast mode. And with, I particularly used fast mode in my past research. I wanted to show a process of folding a device that I came up with, and that was easiest with using fast mode. But slow mode is also used like in a car crash simulation. And I know for a fact that I was reading some books and I read that Elon Musk used when they were building Teslas, they used in his car crash simulations a slow mode to see where those mistakes were. They were able to correct it from there. So time-lapse can be super helpful. And C++ programming, C++ is a great software. It's great programming that I love using because it's used in so many different sensors, so many different things like Arduinos, which are very similar to the Raspberry Pis that you use today. And many sensors use C++, that's why I recommend it. But there are a variety of different software out there. So any software you're comfortable with is always great to use. So I'm going to go a little bit into my scientific research. I've done, like I said, science first since 3rd grade. And some of my more better projects that I've done were creating like a stronger but lighter weight drywall design where I replaced the inside of the drywall, the heavier part, the gypsum, with a honeycomb structure to make it stronger. But I've had 2 projects that have gone farthest, both nationally and the other one internationally. The first one being my microwave oven research with the Broadcom Masters program. So Broadcom Masters is a national middle school science competition for grades 6 through 8. This competition, they pick the top 30 middle school science students. We go and compete in Washington, D.C., and they have different prizes. So in 2015, I was named the winner of that competition. So my microwave oven research, which was the work I did for that, was a 2.5-year project where how many of you here have tried to warm up a frozen food meal and the inside of your dish is cold with ice slivers in it, but the outer perimeter is warm? Thank you. Okay, it's a common problem, and I was tired of dealing with it. And so I decided to try and fix that problem. And so I was doing an analysis and found that majority of the energy in the microwave oven is found around the outer perimeter of the turntable or even past the turntable in the corners. So this is lost energy that's being wasted. So I thought it would make more sense if we were able to reflect that lost energy in the corners toward the center uncooked part of the food and making the microwave oven more energy efficient. So basically, I'm proposing that industry should change the microwave oven design to more of a rounded rectangular shape or a rectolip shape as a more practical shape. And I found that it was definitely able to cook food better, which is the design you see up there. The other project that I did, which was for Intel ICEF, which is the International Science and Engineering Fair for high school students. I just displayed it a month ago at this competition, is my battery charging device research. And this was a 2-year project where I had a student who was a friend of mine who was expressing her concern to me about how she goes through approximately 200 button batteries a year just to use her hearing aids. And I had done some previous battery research and learned that according to the EPA, more than 3 billion batteries, or 180,000 tons of batteries, are dumped into landfills each year. And of those, 86,000 tons are single-use batteries. Now, most people would think that the common solution is to just use rechargeable batteries, but that can't be the end-all solution because you're still using electricity to charge those batteries, which means you're increasing CO2 gas emissions, you're increasing fossil fuel energy consumption. So I thought it would make more sense if we were able to just use indoor lighting we would already have on inside of our houses, or any ambient lighting, and reflect it toward a photovoltaic cell or a PV cell and be able to charge batteries that way. So my device, which was a compound parabolic concentrator, as you can see up there, a CPC, it has curved sides and curved edges, and basically this design takes in and absorbs any ambient light in a room, and it is successfully able to charge hearing aid batteries or button batteries. So with strictly LED lighting, it's able to charge one button battery in about 30 minutes. So it's a pretty good solution to that problem. Now, I want to show you this because these are pictures from internationals, and this was my project setup. So now, if you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I can never have a board that big, don't even be concerned about that. There's so many different sized boards that students do. It just varies on what you're comfortable with. So some of the things I want to point out are the categories that you're going to have on that board are going to vary if you're doing more of a project that's science-based or engineering-based. So if you're engineering, your hypotheses may just be as simple as, I added this or I took away this and I think it's going to work better because of this. It doesn't need to be something that's super complex. So I brought some of my sketches with, I brought some of my lab books, and I also had my setup there as well with my device to show the judges. So I'm going to go back to some of the benefits of STEAM and where it can take you. So one of the more obvious ones that most people would think of automatically is that you can win awards for your accomplishments, which is so true, and it really is a rewarding experience. But there are some more things that I honestly would value higher than winning awards for that. The first one being meeting and networking with so many students who share a passion for science just like you. This picture that's actually up here was from the Broadcom Masters International Program. So in this program, they take students from about 20 different countries. We meet in a location for a week. We do different activities together. The students I'm actually in that picture with, one's from India and one's from South Korea. And I still stay in contact with these students ever since. I'm close friends with them for the past 2 years. So it's been really great that at these competitions you're able to network with these students and stay in contact with them even after the event. Another positive thing is that STEAM at the White House. So I've been to the White House twice because of science. The first one was in 2014 with a group of Broadcom Masters finalists. We were all invited to meet President Obama, which is the first picture. But the other two were in 2016 when we got to go to the White House because of the White House Science Fair. And the White House Science Fair was a great experience, not only because you got to meet the president, but also because you were able to network with other government officials and other people in the network of STEM and other people that could inspire you. So there were multiple different science advocates there, one of them being Bill Nye the Science Guy, which was great to meet him. But there were other people just from like the patent office and different places like that, and it was super exciting to meet them and hear different things to critique them. And one thing I want to emphasize here is any science advocate that's going to talk to like a judge or a higher official, when you're presenting your research, don't feel intimidated by them by far, because you are the expert in what you're doing. You're the expert in your research, so don't feel like they're trying to criticize you. They're just trying to help you. They're trying to improve, and just they're interested in what you're doing. So don't feel like they're out to get you. They're there to help you. So another positive is that you get to talk with other leaders in your state. So I'm from Indiana, and it was very exciting. A few years ago, I was able to discuss some different curriculum and classes I was taking and different things in my project and research with Indiana's Superintendent of Public Instruction. And so it was super exciting. She was able to come to my school. I was able to talk with her, and it was just exciting that she was interested in what I was doing. And just coming here today, like, I'm so excited I'm able to speak in front of you and share and encourage some of you to get more interested in STEM. So STEAM is an international language, and I want to stress that again, because no matter what country someone's from, no matter what language they speak, we all have a common knowledge and common interest in STEAM and in STEM. And so this first picture here, one event at internationals, they call all the countries up. There are about 75 different countries. They call them all up, and you're able to see how excited you are. It's like the opening ceremony, and there were kids from 75 different countries there and all 50 US states. And the other picture was, like I was talking about before, Broadcom Masters International, where they have students from 20 countries, and it was just exciting there to be able to network with them as well. So don't be afraid to take risks and explore science, for soon you'll be soaring. Soon you'll be having a great time. You'll be meeting new people, getting interested in the field, and just having fun doing your research. Now, one thing I do want to talk about with you are some certain resources that I would recommend if any of you do want to get involved very soon, or if you have any questions. So some main competitions and main resources that you could use. The first one being Society for Science in the Public, or SSP, is a nonprofit organization that sponsors 3 main science competitions. The first one being Broadcom Masters, which is their middle school level. And for this competition, you have to be nominated by either an affiliate school or affiliate regional fair. The other competition is their high school level, which is Intel ISEF, which is the International Science and Engineering Fair competition. And this is for high school students, grades 9 through 12. And this one, you also have to be nominated from an affiliate, regional, or school. The last one I have up there is Regeneron STS, and this is only for high school seniors, but I do recommend that you keep it in mind. It's a great competition that I've had multiple friends go through. It's just a direct online application. There's nothing that you have to be nominated from an affiliate or anything. You can just apply directly online. It's a great competition. I recommend you take a look at it. The other resource, main one, is PLTW, or Project Lead the Way. And I don't know how many of your schools have that or not, but Project Lead the Way is more based on getting middle school and high school students inspired into science. I actually learned Autodesk Inventor through them, through their Introduction to Engineering Design class. And they have just a bunch of different classes and curriculum for students that I recommend checking out if you're interested into engineering like that. And also, for any girls here, NC-WIT, or the National Center for Women in Information Technology, is a great resource that I would recommend checking out. This one, they have different competitions in the sense of they nominate some girls, they give awards for their state, awards for their national, but they also give awards and just help students and give them grants and help if they want to start their own club, start their own organization. They have a bunch of, it's just a great network of people that I recommend you getting connected with if you want to. And the Computer History Museum is such a great resource for all of you here because you are so close to this great resource, and all of these people that are here to help you and encourage you and take advantage of their exhibits and the people here that are here to help you because they really will make such a difference. And the last one I want to stress is Google Scholar. So if you're interested in getting into research right away, or if you want to look up like any research papers that are out there, or maybe even patents that already exist, I would recommend looking at Google Scholar. It's basically a search engine that will narrow it down for you so you don't have to worry about looking at anything else, and will just give you science articles that you want to take a look at. So if you don't know where to start, just please find something that you are passionate about, find something in your environment that you want to try and improve or make better. So you can be the change that we want to see in this world if you just never stop challenging yourself to use your talents and use your skills to make positive impacts in our world. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
All right, so we have some time for questions. So if you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand. We'll get to you with a mic.
Thank you, Annie. You inspired me to grow up to be someone bigger. What do you inspire to be? What's your dream job?
At the moment, I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but at the moment I'm more so focused on in engineering fields or in the medical field. I definitely want to do some more job shadowing and look into those more so and do some maybe internships with that before I make a final decision, but those are the two main fields I'm more so interested in. Thank you.
I've got one over on this side.
Do you ever get the Nobel Prize?
No, that's tough. The Nobel Prize is like up here. I'm nowhere near that. But thank you.
Got one back here.
What's next for your microwave project?
Yeah, so with the microwave research, I currently have a provisional patent on it. No companies have come to me yet. I may try and see if it's anywhere, like if I can get it, if a company wants to take it on to try and make a design like that. We'll see where it goes, but at the moment, it's just like it's perfecting it and different things like that, always trying to make it better.
You have a question over here?
Just from your recent projects, so maybe something you didn't talk about today, what's something you're working on or thinking about working on that's really fun and has you excited right now?
I'm still pretty excited with ProjectWise about my battery charging research because definitely there are ways to perfect that, ways to make it better because, I mean, that even though it was 2 years of research, there's definitely a lot more there left to do. So I'm still pretty passionate about that. I've been pretty involved with that. And I always have the microwave that I keep trying to, look at. There are things to perfect. But at the moment, there isn't like a next upcoming project. I still am like working with the battery project, but there are definitely a lot of things like that. Just always looking if there's any other inventions I can come up with.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
What's your earliest scientific memory that you have, like in your youth? I mean, like
Earliest memory?
Yeah, of science.
I don't know. I did when I was younger. I did a lot of kitchen chemistry, in all honesty, and in kindergarten we had show and tell time, and I would bring in like a rock collection I had and start talking about that. So probably those are my earliest memories I have of science. My first science fair project in 3rd grade, I was trying to slow down the decomposition of food. So I created like my own vacuum packing system, kind of like a homemade vacuum packing system. So those are kind of like my earliest memories.
Hey, thanks for coming out. It was really cool to listen to you. You're very confident in the way you speak, especially for your age. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
What do you do when you're not researching? What do you do to decompress and kind of stay, kind of just stay down on the ground?
Yeah, so to stay relaxed, I do a lot of reading, honestly. I just like reading books a lot. I also hang out with friends, and I do exercise a lot. I love running, biking. I'm more of the type of person that like parasailing, ziplining, like different things like that. So I'm more the type of person like that to relax. It really helps me. And travel. Traveling helps too. So.
Thanks for coming. What's your earliest invention?
My earliest invention? That would be my vacuum packing system to reduce the decomposition of food. That would be my earliest. My one after that, I guess you can consider more of an invention. I basically created a can that, almost like a hexagonal prism kind of can that packs and stacks food more efficiently. That was my 4th grade project. So.
Do you have your heart set on a specific college or something?
Not really. At the moment, I don't know what college I want to go to. I mean, I'm keeping my options open. Whenever my parents and I are on vacation somewhere, if there's a nearby college, we'll just take a look. Or I have a lot of friends at these different competitions. They'll tell me about their colleges they're going to. So I get like a lot of advice, but I don't have like one set place that I'm sure I want to go to.
For the parents, what has been the most rewarding and challenging part of raising such an amazing young woman, and what do you look forward to most in her future?
She sure keeps us busy. Hard to answer her questions often, so we're always researching to try and find mentors or individuals that can help guide too, because she comes up with some very interesting ideas and questions, and so it's always trying to help guide her along.
What's been very advantageous, I think, in the past several years at these competitions, other individuals come up to her and encourage her to contact them, and professors that have came up to her and asked her to come to programs that they may have at their colleges. So it's opened the door that we wouldn't have that be able to do that. And those competitions, get her involved with other mentors that have been a big part. She can give you a list of individuals over the years that have just advanced her and encouraged her. And I think today she talked to a couple parents that she already was talking to me about, that they brought up some great ideas. So just gathering these ideas and us trying to, fulfill those things as much as possible. But I think just her enthusiasm has been remarkable. And then our school has been, I think, very encouraging also. They allowed her to take classes, ahead of time, but still staying within her same age group of individuals. So it's almost like a college type of setting. You go to college as a freshman, you may have a junior or senior in there. Same thing at our high school. We're trying not to move people in herds. So if you're a great music individual, orchestra, if you're in 6th grade, they're going to put you up into the high school. So the same thing, they're doing that with education, which I think was really good for her.
Yeah, and to add on that, mentor-wise, definitely not only adult, like professor mentors, but also even student mentors. I mean, there's so many kids I can just name off the top of my head that I met when I was like younger that said, you know, oh, we want you to keep going, and they introduced me to other professors and other people like that. So like at these competitions, you're just able to meet other kids that will introduce you maybe to their mentors. So then it's kind of like this chain that just keeps growing, and that's like really a nice feature to be able to meet people through other people in a sense, and that's definitely been a positive thing for me.
All right, we've got one more over here at the orange table.
What's the most challenging project you had?
Most challenging project I've had, probably the last two I've worked on, which was my microwave oven or my battery charging device, just because there's so many different factors that are involved there, and they're bigger problems I'm trying to solve compared to other ones when I was younger. Good question.
Thank you so much, Annie. You've shared so much great advice for students today and for parents alike. And just to wrap things up, could you just share some last-minute words of encouragement for students that may be interested in getting involved with anything STEAM-related right now?
So yeah, definitely. So advice-wise, I definitely recommend perseverance and dedication, like I said before, are essential in any research, and always keep trying and believe in yourself, because you can do it. Whatever you're determined to do, whatever you're interested in, just keep doing it and keep going for it, because I know you can do it. So.
All right, thank you.